Good morning, students. Today I am going to tell you about the total number of units which are prescribed for this biology subject. As we know all, totally 5 units it includes. Among the 5 units, chapters are going to be distributed. First unit includes 4 chapters, second unit includes 3 chapters, third unit includes 3 chapters, fourth unit includes 2 chapters, and the last 5th unit includes 4 chapters. So among these units, today I am going to start with the 5th unit of a second year biology, that is going to deal with the reproduction in organisms. Now let us try to understand the definition it is concerned with. What is this reproduction? Prior to that one, first let us try to understand what the organisms means. Now let us start with the 5th unit. It is going to deal with the chapter number 1, that is going to deal with the reproduction in organisms. Okay. Now, prior to define the term called reproduction, now first I will try to understand you regarding organisms means what. We know that this earth, what we say, the planet, it is the gift of the God. Earth includes the 2 things in it. One is the physical world. It includes the physical world. And another one is biological world. Among these 2, physical world in the sense, most of the non-living things are going to be included. Non-living things. We can list also. Non-living things in the sense, the stone, soil, water, like that, etc. At the same time, the second one called the biological world. As we know, biology is going to deal with the living organisms. Among them, the biological world includes living things. So living things in the sense, they are going to have with some specialized characteristic features, and they are going to exhibit also. Among them, living things includes 2 type of structures. For example, some organisms are visible our eye, and others may be not visible. Based on that visibility and non-visibility, we are going to once again further classify them. Entire living world has been broadly classified into 2 type of the things. Among them, one group may be of microscopic, and another group may be called macroscopic. So I hope that you can understand the difference between microscopic and macroscopic. It is very easy to understand that microscopic means invisible. That means they cannot be observed by our naked eye. At the same time, these macroscopic means they are complex in nature and they can be easily visible our eye, and hence based on that one, microscopic are very simpler in form, and whereas macroscopic are very complex in nature. So now I can give some examples concerned with the microscopic type of organisms. One more thing even plants also exhibit with living characters. Okay, now regarding this microscopic type of organisms concerned, they are very micro in nature and simpler type, and also they are unicellular in character. Unicellular. Unicellular means entire organism is made with only a single cell. Okay. Next, macroscopic or complex in nature. The complexity, it is due to more than one cell is going to form the entire structure, and hence that is referred as the complex organism. Here, instead of unicellular structure, we can see multicellular. Entire organism is made with more than one cell, and hence they are referred as multicellular. Again, come to the point. Usually, unicellular organisms are going to be technically considered as prokaryotic type of things. Prokaryotic. And macroscopic organisms are of eukaryotic in nature. Eukaryotic in nature. What is the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic type of organisms? Now, the thing is that prokaryotic and eukaryotic are going to be considered based on the condition of the nucleus. We know that any type of the living organism is made with one basic structure that is called as the cell. Okay. Any cell includes in the center a spherical shaped body that is called as the nucleus. We know nucleus. Nucleus. And outside it is having with the cell wall. But one thing is, plant cell compulsorily covered by cell wall, whereas animal cells doesn't have the cell wall. Instead of cell wall, animal cell is covered by the layer called plasma membrane. Should know plasma membrane. Now, next thing is, usually prokaryotic nucleus is having with only a naked DNA. It includes naked DNA. Always you take any kind of plant or animal cells, in them prokaryotic condition means nucleus of that particular cell having with only a naked DNA. Naked DNA, it is not associated with any kind of protein molecules. Whereas eukaryotic cell nucleus is having with DNA plus histone proteins. Histone proteins. Is having with histone proteins. That leads to eukaryotic nature. Naked DNA leads to prokaryotic character. So these are the two differences we can cite out between the prokaryotic type of organisms and as well the eukaryotic type of organisms. And now next point is, now let us try to understand the today's topic. It is going to deal with that is the reproduction in organisms. Come to the point. Now let us try to define the term called what is reproduction. After understanding about this organisms, now let us try to define the term called reproduction. I want to suggest my students that there is a all possibility of worth of one marks question may be asked about define the term reproduction. Okay. So you know that the question paper pattern includes the 4 stages: part A, part B, part C, and as well part D. So part A may include only 1 marks question. Part B, it will carry 2 marks questions. Part C, it will carry 3 marks questions. Part D once again further split into section 1 and section 2, and both sections will carry 5 marks questions. Among them, part A may have all the chances of asking about this 1 marks question, question called what is reproduction means. Now I will write the definition of reproduction. Just you see. So reproduction is an biological process where an organism is going to give birth to an offspring or younger one similar to itself. Okay, right. So students should make it practice to define the term called reproduction. Reproduction is a biological process where an organism is going to give birth to an offspring or younger one similar to itself. Okay. Next point is any kind of organism, it is going to be formed, nothing but the offsprings or younger one. Further, it will start to grow. That is, it will undergo the process called growth and development. Later forms and new offspring and dies. Next. Now, one question arises in our mind. We know any organism after the birth it has to die. So death is a certain to all the organisms. But one exceptional case I want to refer here, that is concerned with the lifespan. So now the next question is concerned with what is lifespan? What is lifespan? Okay. Lifespan means it is the period from birth to its natural death. Any organism, once it got birth into, so later it has to die. So the period between birth to, it is the period between birth of an organism to its natural death. Natural, we should never forget to refer this word. So natural is most important. So natural death only considered for the lifespan. If we neglect to write this natural, forget to write this natural, then it is not clear. So by that we have to compulsorily write. If any question with regard to what is lifespan, we have to mention that it is the period between birth of an organism to its natural death. Then only the answer will be correct. Next point. Okay. One more thing is that actually it has been referred in the textbook. He is going to consider, is there any connection between the lifespan of an organism and its size? It is very clearly understood that there is no correlationship between the lifespan of an organism and its size. For example, just you see, so there is no any correlation between size of an organism and its lifespan. So now I want to refer the one example concerned with the relationship between the size of an organism and lifespan. size of an organism and its lifespan. Example.
ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್
Yes, sir.
ನೋಡೋಣ